Hello. Welcome back to Life After Plus One. I'm Leanne, your podcast host and your single parent mentor and coach. And if you are listening in real time as it comes to air, today is, well, actually, it wasn't today, it's yesterday. It's the 1 year anniversary of the show. It was launched on the 11th of the 11th. I'm a little bit woo-woo when it comes to numbers. And so that's when it was released. And it's exciting. It's a whole year that this show has been going. So thank you to everyone that keeps coming back week after week and listening to their dose of single parent love and support. So thank you, everyone. And as a thank you to those regulars and those of you who are always on board listening, I want to give you a little gift for coming back each week. And I'm offering my single parent guide ebook at 50% off for this week only. So jump onto my website. I'm going to put it in the show notes below with the discount code of 1 year. So that's the discount code to get your single parents guide at 50% off for this week only to celebrate the 1 year anniversary. And why I'm on it, let's just do 50% off all ebooks because I'm just feeling generous and I'm feeling the love in the air. I'm giving away 50%. Well, I'm not giving away. I'm giving 50% off all the ebooks available on my website with the discount code of 1 year. So jump on and grab that. And let's jump on to today's episode, which is talking about your emotions because it's one of the biggest things we have to tackle as a single parent. So let's get started on today's episode and talk about those feelings.
Welcome to the Life After Plus One podcast, where we turn life's lemons into delightful lemonade. Get ready for inspiring stories, uplifting conversations, and all the tips and tricks to rock your single parent journey with style. I'm your host, Leanne, and it's time to embrace the adventure of Life After Plus One. So let's dive in.
Okay, so when you've gone through a breakup, and whether it be you've broken up from your marriage or you've broken up from your long-term relationship or it's been dating since and you've broken up from that relationship and you're feeling hurt, you're feeling sad, you're feeling upset, the thing that a lot of people don't realize, especially after your main relationship breakup with your kids' parents, it is a freaking roller coaster of emotions. No one prepares you for that. You just think you're going to be hurt and in time you'll get over it and you'll be fine. No one prepares you for the ups and downs that you actually go through because you pretty much are grieving the loss of someone. And it's a fucking hard process to get through. This is why it's so important to have people around you and good positive people around you when you're going through something like this. Because 1 minute you could be on a high and you could be feeling all amazing and great and thinking, yes, I'm glad I don't have them in my life. I don't have to wake up next to them anymore. I don't have to listen to their shit and their drama and their nitpicking. Yes, I'm free. Next day, you'll wake up all sad and lonely and depressed and confused, and you're wishing you had someone with you. You're wishing you had someone to wake up to. You're feeling hurt. You're feeling sad. You're wishing that you could have maybe done something different. You go through every kind of emotion there is. And it's a head fuck. It really is. And no one prepares you for that. 1 minute you're happy. Next minute you're sad. Next minute you're confused. Next minute you're lost. Next minute you're lonely. Next minute you just don't know what the fuck to think. So yes, these feelings are normal and no one talks about that and no one prepares you for that. But when you're going through a breakup and it's all ups and downs, and you're like, what is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. This is your process of getting through it. This is your process of healing. This is your process of mourning the loss of someone that had a huge role in your life. Because you're not just going to wake up one day and just be happy that they're gone. Maybe you will if it was a really bad breakup and it was something that was happening over time and you had been planning it. But even so, even though those bad breakups and it ends in a bad way and you're both pissed off at each other, you still go through those moments of thinking, fuck, if there was something I could have done different, maybe I could have saved that relationship. Maybe I shouldn't have done this. Maybe I should have done this. You start having your doubts and your regrets and wishing you had done something different. This is all part of the process of getting over the breakup. Now, going through this can be quite difficult. It's easy to cave and just want to call your ex or just message them and say, hey, I miss you, or remember that time when we did this, or remember that time when we went here, or, you start talking about dates and fun times that you had together, which is nice because you want to keep that memory alive. But if you're at a place where your relationship is definitely over, you have done everything you can to make it work, or even if you know you don't want to go back, but you're still going through these emotions and these thoughts, this is your time to put your attention on you. Because it's easy to cave and just think that you can fix these feelings and fix this hurt by calling them, and by you speaking to them or you getting a message back from them, it's going to make everything better. But it doesn't. It doesn't change anything. And everyone's situation is different. So it depends on how you broke up and what actually happened in your situation. And maybe you're both feeling the same way. Maybe you're both regretting it and wishing you could make it work again. But if it's something that's definitely over and it's done and it's dusted and there's no chance of making it work again, then don't put yourself in a position where you're going to be left open to get hurt again. Because in your head, you're thinking, oh, if I could just get rid of these feelings and emotions, if I could just call them and I'll feel better again. Because in this moment, you're feeling shit, you're feeling lost, you're feeling confused, you're feeling sad, you're feeling all these, your head's like a washing machine. You've just got a whole lot of good memories, all the bad memories, and everything else in between, and you don't know what to do. And part of you's thinking, okay, well, if I just message them or call them, it'll make it all better. But it won't. It won't. Because how are you going to react if they don't respond to you? Is that going to make it all better? Or is that just going to make you feel worse? How are you going to react if they message in a not so pleasant way and say, hey, just please leave me alone. I don't want to hear this anymore. How are you going to react if you go to message them and then you realize that you've been blocked and you can't get onto their Facebook page, or you can't get onto their Instagram page, or you send them a text and you see it hasn't been delivered and you know, okay, I've been blocked. That's only going to fuck with your head even more. When you're feeling in a shitty headspace after a breakup, reaching out to your ex to try and make you feel better is not the way to go about it. Because in that moment, you think that's what you need. You think you need your ex to make it better for you. And if it was as easy as that, then they would not be your ex. You would still be together. Breakups are hard. Yes, they are. If you're trying to heal, if you're trying to move on, if you're trying to get your life back on track, the more you focus on your ex, the more you keep obsessing about them, the more you keep putting them on a pedestal, the more you keep wishing and wishing and wishing that that's the life you had, the longer it's going to take for you to heal. The longer it's going to take for you to move on with your life and find someone else. You need to be able to get through these emotions and get through this hard time, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what I always say, and I promise you, there is. It does get better. But when you're in this confused state and you're lost and you're unsure and you're just feeling like you need someone, you need a hug, you want to wake up with someone next to you, you just want someone there for you, your ex is not the person to fix your problems for you. Maybe they were back then. Maybe they were when you were together. Who knows? Maybe they didn't even do it when you were together. But you're just wanting that void to be filled. You're wanting that gap in your life to be filled by someone, and you're hoping your ex is that person. But if they were that person, then they would not be your ex. So if you're feeling lost and confused and you're wanting to reach out to your ex, what are you hoping to achieve from that? Are you hoping that they turn around and say, oh my gosh, I miss you so much too. I really want you back. Let's make this work. I mean, wouldn't that be great if that did happen? But if you know that it's ended badly and there's been a lot of fighting and there's been a lot of back and forth and it's been ugly and it's been toxic, and you guys have both made it clear that that's not what's happening. Maybe the other person's already dating. Maybe you filed for divorce already. You know it's done. Then reaching out to them at this point is not going to make you feel better. If anything, it's only going to make you feel worse, because it's going to be a wake-up call for you to realize, okay, they've moved on. They've moved on, and I now feel even more shit. But maybe that's what you need. Maybe that's what you need to show you that, okay, this is my closure. This is my way of moving forward. But your closure doesn't come from your ex. Your closure doesn't come from your ex giving you an apology or giving you a letter explaining what happened or saying that they shouldn't have done this or they shouldn't have done that. Your closure comes from you accepting that's what it is, that's what's happened, and it's time for you to let it go. That's where your closure comes from. It's not up to your ex to fix your problems. It's not up to your ex to fill that gap in your life. They are now your ex and are not a part of your life. Unless you have kids together, then they're involved for the kids. So going through these roller coaster of emotions is all part of the process. You will experience it all. It goes up and down. But the longer you stay down, the longer you stay thinking about your ex, the longer you stay focusing on what they are doing, the longer it's going to take for you to move on. If you're wanting to have a happier life, if you're wanting to find a new partner in your life, then sitting around being sad and miserable is not going to help you make that happen. Now, we've all been through hurt. We've all been through hard times. That's why we're here. We're single parents that have been through shit. We all share that in our journey. But it's one thing to go through it and choose to sit there and stay there. It's another thing to go through it and look back on it and go, that was a fucky situation, but I need to learn from this because I want to have a relationship that my kids can look up at and be proud of me. And a relationship that I can model to my kids, that's the kind of relationship I want them to be in. Because it's quite easy when you're in this stage to be overly focused on what your ex is doing. And the biggest piece of advice when you're going through this, when you're going through these roller coaster of emotions, is take the focus off them and put it on you and your kids. And I cannot emphasize that enough. The more you focus on your ex, the more you focus on what they're doing with their life, the more you are going to mess with your own head, especially if they've moved on and got a new partner. If you keep stalking them on social media, if you keep messaging them and asking about what happened and asking for closure and asking for this and asking for that and overanalyzing everything that they're doing, you are not doing yourself any favors. Now, it's easy to be in a situation and something might happen between you two and they might send you a message because maybe they've found something of yours at their place and they want to give it back, or they've got some mail that's been delivered or something that's happened and they've reached out to you and you're like, well, they've reached out to me. Maybe they want me back. Maybe they want this. Maybe they want that. Oh, they're playing games with me. Don't overanalyze things. Don't overanalyze it. If they've reached out because you've left mail or you've received some mail at their house or they've found an item of clothing or something of yours and they've done the right thing and sent you a message, don't overanalyze it. Even if they are playing games, even if they are trying to fuck with your head. If you don't want that piece of clothing back or whatever it is that they found, then just ignore the message. If you do want it back, just respond to them like they're a business partner. Thanks for that. If you could pop it in the mail, that would be great. Or I can pop past on this day and get it. Or can you just drop it in my letterbox? Whatever it is. Don't just sit there and send them these crazy messages saying, well, why did you do this? Why did you tell me? Why did you send me a message? Why this? Why that? Don't overanalyze things. If you want it, organize a time to pick it up. If you don't want it, don't respond. And this applies to anything they do or say or message you about, or if they just pop up in your life with some sort of communication. Don't overanalyze it. Just look at it like it's a business transaction. If it's something that you need or something that you want, respond to them and say, yes, thank you. Can I have it then? Or can you please drop it off? Or can you please post it? If you don't want it, then ignore the message. Don't sit there and stew on things and wonder why do they message me? Why do they do this? Why do they say it like this? Why do they that? They're just reaching out to mess with my head. They're just saying this for a reason because they want to fuck with me. Well, if they do want to fuck with you and you know that, then just don't respond. Don't overanalyze things. It's so important when you're going through all these emotions and you haven't properly healed to take as much focus and attention off them. Because if they reach out to you when something does happen and then you are asking yourself all these questions of what if, then you haven't moved on yet. You haven't properly healed. If you get to a place where your ex messages you about something and you're just like, and you just respond because it's about the kids or because it's about whatever, then you've healed. You've got zero emotional connection to them. But if you're getting all worked up every time they message or contact you about something, then you need to distance yourself from them and take the focus and attention off them and put it on you and your kids. Now, I do know what it's like. I know what it's like to worry about, well, are they going to message me? Are they going to call me? Are you going to hear from them? What's going to happen? What are they doing? Why have they got a partner? What are they like? What's this? What's that? You're asking yourself 1,000,001 questions. Now, when you're going through all these emotions after a breakup, you're just adding fuel to the fire by over-analyzing everything about them. You're turning yourself into a ticking time bomb and you're going to explode on somebody. And more often than not, it's going to be your ex. Now, I get it. When you've broken up in a ugly way or they've hurt you or something's happened, it's hard to let that hurt go. You just want to see them suffer. You want to see them hurt because they've hurt you. I get it. I know what that's like. But sitting in this headspace of what can I do to get revenge? And there is a show on that. So go back and have a listen to that if you're in that headspace of wanting to get revenge on your ex. But if that's where you're at, you're not doing yourself any favors. You're not moving forward. You're staying in the past, focusing on them. If you're wanting to get revenge on your ex, then you're in the headspace of giving them way too much attention and you're focusing way too much of your time and energy on them. Keep your focus on you. If you see yourself at a place constantly going back and checking their social media, checking who they're friends with, checking out what they're doing and stalking their friend's social media or their partner's social media, or whatever it is, or driving past their house, if you find yourself in that place, then that's not healthy. Now, I understand it's normal to miss someone. It's normal to miss the relationship you had. It's normal to miss the life that you had, especially if it was a long-term relationship or a long-term marriage. That's all you knew. That was your life together with them. So yes, it's hard to move on from that. I'm not denying that at all. But the more you sit there and keep focusing on them and you keep focusing on what they're doing and you keep focusing on where they're going and how they're dressing and things that they're now doing differently, you are only fucking with your head. And especially if you are the primary carer of your kids, that is not a good headspace to be in. Because when you're angry and stressed and pissed off about your ex and you are a primary carer of your kids and you've got them with you the majority of the time and you're trying to parent them when you're in that headspace, it's not a good way to parent. I can guarantee you this is where you're at, you'll be cranky with the kids pretty much all the time. You'll be shitty with them, life won't be fun, bedtime routine, morning routine, it'll all be stressed, you'll be angry, you'll be rushing them. It will be chaotic. But when you learn to get yourself in a better headspace by not giving your ex so much time and energy and attention, you will be in a better headspace and you will feel better in yourself. Yes, it's hard to let that go. It is hard to let that life go and just drop it all and move on. But at some point, you have to accept this is your life now. This is where you're at. And especially if they have a new partner. They have moved on. There is no point sitting there stewing over who they're dating, what they're doing, where they're going, where they're living, what the partner does for work, whatever it is. You are not helping yourself move forward if this is where you're at. So if you're having one of those shitty days and you're feeling down and you're having a really emotional day after the breakup because you're still processing it all and you're still going through it, that's normal. But if you're having one of these days, then the best thing you can do is not look or worry or focus or do anything that's going to have your ex come into your world, whether it be through stalking them on social media, going past their house, going past their work, going past their partner's place. Do not break that temptation because you're having a shit day and you think by looking at them, it's going to make you feel better, because good chance it won't. Good chance it's only going to make you feel worse, and then you're going to do it and then you will spiral, and it doesn't end well. It doesn't. So when you are feeling shit, you are missing your ex, you are missing the fun times that you had, be real with yourself. Yes, you had fun times, but there was probably shitty times. There was probably bad times. That's why they are now your ex. It's nice to think about the good things, but you've also got to keep it real. You are not in a relationship together for a reason. And that's okay. It's hard to accept for a long-term relationship and a long-term marriage. It is hard to accept, especially when the other person wasn't willing to put in the effort to make it work, because relationships take work. So many people forget that. When you're in a relationship for 10, 20, 30 years, you can't just keep going day by day and expect your relationship to have fireworks and all that spark and everything that comes with it. It's not going to be like when you first met and you went on those first few dates and you got the butterflies and, you had those cute little smiles at each other. You need to continue to put the work in. It doesn't continue to happen like that after 20, 30 years if you're not doing anything to keep that spark alive. And so many people forget that. It's to the point in the relationship where one person thinks, oh, this is done. Well, this is over. We've got nothing now. We're both miserable. We may as well just go our separate ways, without even trying to make it work, without even trying to fix it. It's like with anything in life, you've got to put in the work. Like your lawns aren't just going to always look beautiful. You've got to keep mowing them. Your car's not always going to run well because you've got to keep looking after it. Anything in life that you want to go well, want to have you want it to work out well, you need to make it work. You need to put in the effort. That applies with relationships. So it is hard when you come out of a relationship with someone that hasn't wanted to put the work in, and they've just given up hope and they've left, gone their separate ways, and then you're left wondering, well, maybe if we just did this, maybe if we just did that. But you've got to accept where you are now on your journey as a single parent. If you keep wishing and praying and wanting something else to happen that you know for a fact there's no chance of that ever happening again, or if you keep missing them and wanting them back, but you know deep down they will never change. This is who they are. They're 40, 50 something years old. This is how they've always been, and they don't see anything wrong with what they're doing. That they're never going to change. This is them as a person. So you need to sit back and look and go, okay, is that really what I'm missing? Do I really miss those weekends where I was doing all the household chores and everything and running around for the kids and they were just sitting down watching football? Or do you really miss those nights where you got home from work at 7, 8 o'clock at night and they were just out with their friends or sitting down watching TV and you're just been at work all day and you haven't come home to a cooked meal? I don't know, I'm just giving examples here, but you need to be real with your situation. Are you missing it because you're just lonely? Are you missing it because you're just wanting someone to fill that void? Are you missing it because you did miss the good times? There were lots of good times. But are you forgetting the reasons of why you broke up? Are you forgetting the reasons of why you were both so unhappy that pushed you to the point of wanting to go your own separate ways. So when you're on your roller coaster of emotions and you're not sure how to handle it and you're missing your ex and you're wanting them back, use this time to focus on you. Instead of feeling the urge to call them, to text them, to message them, to email, to stalk them, to drive past them, to send a pigeon message, whatever it is, how you want to reach out to them, stop yourself. Please stop yourself. If you're having a shitty day and you're feeling the need to do that, please stop yourself, because it's not your ex's job to make you feel better. If you're feeling shit, get out and go for a walk. Even if you don't want to go for a walk. You know what? I've had shit days where I know for a fact that a walk will make me feel better, or I know for a fact that going to the gym will make me feel better. But I just don't have the energy to do that. And that's normal. We're not all going to be running on 100% every single day. And there's times where I just go and sit at the beach or just sit down somewhere and just chill and unwind, because I can't be fucked going to the gym or going for a walk. And that is okay. So if you're in that headspace where you are feeling shit, go somewhere where you can just unwind and relax on your own without having the need to stalk or go somewhere or drive past somewhere where you shouldn't be. Focus on you. If you're feeling shit and are just worried about what your ex is doing, take the focus of them and put it on you. Do something that is going to make you feel good. And if it means going out and buying a new outfit, going out and just having a lunch date with yourself, go out and do something that will make you feel good, that is going to take the attention off them. So when you're wanting to feel better and you're unsure how to manage these emotions, take it day by day. Take it day by day, because it will go up and down. You will start focusing on the good. You will start focusing on the bad. You will start focusing on yourself. Just keep your focus on putting your attention on you and your kids. That's where it needs to be. Just to remind you, when you're having those shit days and you're on the downside of the roller coaster, the only way to fix that and to make yourself feel better is to do something that's going to make you feel good. And also, just remember, this is normal. Don't think that because you're having these days and you've woken up and you're feeling shit and you're feeling sad and you're feeling lost and you're feeling alone, there's nothing wrong with you. This is totally normal. So don't feel bad or feel like you can't talk to someone because you're having these shit days. Talk to a friend. Talk to someone. Talk to me here at Life After Plus One. Send me a message. Let's have a call. Let's have a chat. But these feelings, these emotions are totally normal. So don't deprive yourself of feeling it. Don't deprive yourself of going through this. Don't deny how you feel. Just don't stay there. Don't stay there, and don't use your ex to fix the problem. Don't think that by messaging them or calling them or stalking them is going to make you feel better. When you're having these shit days and you're down on that roller coaster, think of things you can do for yourself. And if need be, write a list. If you're still going through this and you're still going through a lot of ups and downs and you don't know what you can do, write a list. So when one day comes and you're having a really shit day, pull it out and go, okay, I'm going to sit down and read that book. I haven't caught up on that in a while. Just create yourself a list of things to do when you're feeling shit. And it could be anything from reading a book, listening to a podcast, sitting in the backyard, walking down the street to the lake, going to the park, going to the gym, calling a friend, anything. Write a list of things you can do when you're feeling shit. And so when you're having one of these days, pull your list out and do 1 or 2 or 3. Do however many you want. I personally try to do at least 1 or 2 things a day for myself. That's going to make me feel a little grounded and a little better, because life gets chaotic. It gets crazy. I sometimes multitask. The other day I was riding my exercise bike and I had a little eye mask on at the same time. Self-care and healthcare at the same time. Just do what works for you. But as long as what you're doing in that moment to make you feel good is not related to your ex, it's related to you, or it's related to something with your kids. Have your feel-good list of things to do when you need to distract yourself from your ex or when you just want to feel better in yourself. And that is a great way to heal and to move forward, because that's what you need to do. You need to learn to not be dependent on them. And when you're in that headspace of wanting to call them and wanting them when you are feeling shit, it's because you've just been so used to being dependent on them. You've been so used to having them there for so long when you needed them. But good chance they may not have even been available for you in the relationship, but they were just there around physically. They may not have been there emotionally or mentally, but physically they were there and you're just lost and you were so dependent on them. So now you're having a shit moment. You feel like you need them there in that moment. So doing these other things and having your little feel-good list of things to do is a way to learn to not be dependent on them to fix your problems or on them as a way to make you feel better. You can do it yourself. And that's the best thing you need to learn. Nobody else is going to make you feel better. Only you are. So please take the attention of your ex. Now, I know I've probably said it way too many times now because I honestly cannot emphasize it enough, because we see it all the time when people have broken up and they're getting over their ex and, they're just like, why are they doing this? Oh my God, I can't believe it. We've broken up and they're already dating someone. Oh my God, we've broken up and they've just gone and booked a holiday to this place that we used to go to. Or who cares what they're doing? Maybe they are doing it to piss you off. Maybe they're doing it because that's their way of trying to move on. That's their way of trying to heal. Everyone has their own ways of healing and moving on and getting through that breakup anger. And what a lot of people forget is a good chance your ex is hurting as well. They might not be showing it. They may have initiated it, but there's a good chance they're hurting. People don't just walk away from relationships and have a party and think, yay, I'm so excited, I'm so happy. I mean, people might be doing that. But if it was a long-term relationship, there's a good chance there's still a lot of hurt and a lot of pain and a lot of anger and sadness that comes with that. They may be masking all those sad emotions by having a party and by celebrating. But there still would be a lot of hurt and sadness that's there, that's hidden deep down. So even though your ex may be doing some shitty things and you may be looking at them questioning, why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? Because that's more than likely their way of healing. They could be doing it in a really shitty, fucky way. They could be doing things to make you feel shit. They could be doing and saying things to make you look bad. But sadly, that's probably their way of trying to heal. And that's probably their way of trying to feel better in themselves. Is it right? Fuck no. No, they should not be healing at your expense by making you look like an idiot. They should do that on their own. But some people do. And it's shit. And I understand. But quite often when people go through these phases, that's their way of healing. That's their way of moving on. Some people jump into relationships as their way of healing or moving on. I don't believe you can heal by jumping straight into a new relationship. It may be moving on, but it may not necessarily be healing. But when people question why are they in a relationship so quickly, why have they done this, why have they done that? Because that's their way of dealing with their emotions. That's their way of dealing with what they are going through. Because you're hurt, you're sad, you're upset, you're going through these roller coaster of emotions. Good chance they are as well, but you're just not seeing it. You just don't know because you're not on that side. Maybe they're not experiencing it as much as you are. Maybe they are. Maybe they're dealing with it in a much worse way than you. That's why they're doing these nasty and shitty things. But that's what it is. It's their way of trying to move on and it's their way of trying to heal. Maybe it's not healing because not everyone chooses to heal. Maybe it's just their way of moving on. So instead of questioning why are they doing this, why are they doing that, why are they doing this? Because they're just moving on. That's their shitty way of trying to forget you and trying to move on. And don't take it personally that they want to forget you because you are their ex now. That's what you need to do. You need to move on and go your separate ways. And yes, some people do it in a toxic way. Some people do it in a very nasty way. But That's part of life, unfortunately. Not everyone's going to handle things the way that we'd like them to. Not everyone's going to handle things in a mature way, unfortunately. So when they do these shitty things, that's just their way of moving on. So stop questioning what they're doing. Stop focusing on what they're doing. Stop looking at what they're doing. When you're having these shitty days and these shitty moments, it's up to you to make yourself feel better. It's up to you to find your people to get you out and do things that's going to make you feel better. Go stand in the sand. Go sit in the water. Go sit in the sunshine. Go lie on the grass. Do something that will just make you feel better. But please, when you are feeling shit and you are going through these emotions that you just don't know how to handle, then please find something in yourself that's going to make you feel good. And I just want to touch on this quickly as well. This is probably a whole different episode in itself. But one thing that we all need to remember when we are co-parenting is that our breakup emotions and what we went through with our ex it needs to be separated from our role as being a parent. What we went through with our ex is not what our kids went through with their father or their mother. Now, it may have been a very toxic and unhealthy situation where something did happen where the kids were involved, and that's not very pleasant. So that's a very different story. But if something just happened between you two and had absolutely nothing at all to do with the kids, whatever it is that happened, that is something that happened between you two, not you two and the kids. If you choose to tell your kids what happened in an age-appropriate way, then that's up to you. But that is one of the hardest things to manage when you co-parent. And that is learning to separate your hurt, your anger, your sadness, all those breakup emotions, how to separate that and realize that you've still got to communicate with this person that's pissed you off more than anything. And you've got to be nice to them for your kids. It's hard. It's the one person that's pissed you off more than anything. And you've got the people that you love more than anything. And you've got to communicate with all of you together for the sake of these people that you love. So you've got to figure out how to put these pissed off, anger, sad, hurt emotions from your ex, and you've got to box them up and put them to the side whilst you're trying to parent. And that's why it is hard. Now, I'm not saying to bottle them up and pretend like they don't exist, because no, you need to, they are there. They are there. Don't pretend like they don't exist. I'm saying that when you do parent and you've got your kids around, it's not appropriate to let out those breakup emotions with your ex when the kids are around. That is between you two, because that, at the end of the day, is their mother or their father. And even though that person may have done shit to you, if they haven't done shit to the kids, then it's not your place to turn the kids against them. And again, that's probably a whole different show in itself. But I just want to emphasize how important, when we're talking about your emotions here and all your breakup emotions, and when you're feeling all these crazy feelings and you just don't know how to handle them, the hardest thing when you're going through this is learning to separate your breakup from your role as being a parent. And the best way to do that is, like I said earlier, treat it like a business transaction. Don't give it emotion. Don't feed into it. Don't give it energy that you don't need to do. If they ask you something or say something or message you something and you don't like, don't get all in a fizzle and say, why'd you say this? Why'd you do this? And send this lengthy essay kind of message that good chance they probably won't even read. We've all done that. I'm sure I have at some point years and years ago. You send these lengthy messages and then you just get like an okay response. So if they don't care, why are you caring? So that's my point. Don't put so much energy into focusing on them, your ex. Focus on you. So it doesn't matter if it's something to do with co-parenting, if it's a random message, if it's a phone call. It doesn't matter how the communication is delivered. It still should be dealt with in the same way. and that is learning to separate all your emotions. Detach yourself emotionally from this person so you learn not to get worked up. You learn not to be dependent on this person. You learn to live your life on your own 2 feet. And you learn to get through these highs and lows on your own. And you learn to get through them without having to rely on your ex. And that's what this is all about. You're now separated. You've now gone your own way. You've got to learn to get through life without being emotionally rattled by anything and everything that they do or say. And to do that, don't give it attention. Don't focus on them. When you need to communicate, you keep it as neutral as possible, like you're messaging a business partner. And when you are having a shit day, don't break the urge or the temptation to message your ex and just randomly rip into them with some sort of text message about how pissed off you are. Or don't message them with how you can't believe they got a new partner or what they're doing with their life. Don't focus on that. You are only going to piss yourself off. I guarantee you sending that message and telling them how you really feel is not going to make you feel better, especially if they respond with something even worse. If you want to say it, put it in a letter, write it out, give yourself a voice message to yourself and then delete it. But don't feel the urge to give them the attention that's going to make you feel worse, not them. So just to wrap it up, when you are going through these roller coaster of emotions, just remember, yes, this is very normal. This is a normal part of a breakup, especially when you've been together with this person for so long and you just don't know life without them. You've got to learn to do everything on your own. This is all new. You're adjusting to a whole new life. So it's easy to have that urge to want to message them because they're the ones that have always been there with you. They're the ones that have always been there when you've needed something, when you want to go have a whinge, when you want to go ask for something or ask for help or ask for support or ask for advice. They've always been there. But you've got to learn to separate that. Call a friend. Send an email, write a message, ask on a Facebook group, put a post up there. Make it anonymous if you have to, but don't rely on your ex to make you feel better when you're having a shit day because there's a good chance they won't. Accept these roller coaster of emotions, go on the ride, sit there, but don't keep going back on the ride. Don't stay there. Eventually you have to get off. And the best way to get off and to make that ride even shorter is to focus on you. Focus on yourself. Focus on what you can do to make yourself feel better because that's what this is all about. Doing things to make you feel better, to enjoy your journey of being a single parent. So on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope you got something from this. And if anything, the biggest takeaway from this episode is take your focus off them and put it on you. When you're feeling the need to question them or you're feeling the need to look at what they're doing, take the attention away from them and put it onto you by doing something that's going to make you feel good. All right. And if you have any more questions and if you are really struggling with this, then please jump onto my website. There are a number of coaching services available that can help you through this. I can work through where you're at and we can tailor something and work together to help you get through this. Because it's not fun getting through these emotions and getting through these hard times on your own. So that's what I'm here for. And don't forget, as I mentioned, it is our 1 year anniversary if you're listening in real time. So if you are wanting an ebook, jump on. They are 50% off this week to celebrate 1 year of the podcast. So thank you again, everyone. Love to you all for coming back week after week and listening to my crazy uncensored nonsense. So for those of you who don't like swearing, I'm sorry. It's probably too late now because it's been a year of it. So thank you again, everyone. And until next week, I'll be in your ears then.
Thank you for joining us on the Life After Plus One podcast. If you loved what you heard today and looking for some further support, then jump onto our website, lifeafterplusone.com. Plus, don't forget to check out our Instagram page for further resources and inspo. You can find all the links in the show notes. And remember, you're not alone on this path. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. And in the meantime, keep thriving, keep growing, and keep exploring your amazing life after plus one.